Can you carry me?
I'm going to touch myself and cast light.
Cyrus, no!
I trust your whiskey taste. I trust your judgment.
So it can speak. We get its tongue now.
I'm not sure there's been an occasion where any of us have been particularly stealthy.
It probably wouldn't have worked, but we should have tried. Why are we so stupid?
I think the lesson from this is that I need to stop listening to you guys.
And it's at this moment we realize the DM is an idiot. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 14th session of As Below, So Above. Just to give a full-on recap, you guys left the cave back there and went on to the gorge where you found all the screaming demons, and you spent a long time fighting these demons, eventually somewhat defeating them, as one of them turned into apparently an old acquaintance of Orpheus, said some words, and then flew off, leaving you with a crusty crystal. Although Samson was left with a really sweet-looking club, if I remember correctly. Bo was upset, the elderly halfling that you were assisting, and told you to go up Mount Blood and talk to a sorceress. The sorceress at Mount Blood was able to decrustify the crystal and then also make Samson a brand new club, which is part of the decrustifying the crystal ritual, as Samson assured you all. You left Mount Blood, went back to Bo, and Bo said that if you want to go help the third sage Babel, you need to go to Echo's Valley, which the party swiftly departed on, where on their journeys they reconnected with Randy, Samson's buddy, and then you exited out of that whole cave system, skirted around Mirage Market as the party had no interest in going back there ever again. The DM is thinking, based on your guys' reaction to going back. And then you decided to not go down Echo's Valley, but instead walk alongside on the steps there, where you saw what you presume was Echo, this giant serpent-like being with dozens of bat wings along its back and a dragon-like face. You didn't get too close. You were way off in the distance, but you kept going. And then you met Jens's old companion, who was Lorenzo, and he gave you some wise words about avoiding a lake down near Echo's Peak, and the party quickly skirted off after that. You found some protruding flesh rocks that were being devoured by some giant skeleton beetles or centipedes, I think I described them as. Does the party remember exactly? Were they centipedes or beetles?
Centipedes.
I had
I
them as
think
caterpillars
centipede.
in my mind, but I don't know.
Caterpillars, centipedes, yeah.
Cursed bone creature of some sort.
Cursed
Yeah.
bone creatures is good enough. And then you guys eventually found Babel's Bridge, which Bo did warn you could be covered with demons. And the party went anyway and found out that indeed it was covered with something that was maybe not demons, because beholders aren't demons, and whatever those head things with bat wings were could have been demons. You're not sure, but you guys fought through that and then eventually made your way to Babel himself, which was the beholder missing an eye. And the beholder said some things particularly just to Jens, since Jens was the only person able to understand the beholder with the spell comprehend language. And Jens relayed some of that information to the rest of the party. I think along the lines of, oh, we need to go find this wizard, and leaving out all the rest of the details. Because Jens and Orpheus were most concerned about their heads, which have been infected with an abyssal curse, and if they do not deal with it swiftly, they will lose them. Their heads, that is. And that's where we last left our party. So with that all said, oh, one last thing. Cyrus did get a book about the history of the underworld and was pointed to a section about Ocarus, the demon lord that Cyrus had fought in a past life.
Unclear why at this point I was pointing to that section, but I'll read and find out.
You were gonna take your time reading it, but then Orpheus and Jens found out some information about their condition that made the whole process a little bit more expedited than originally anticipated.
Well, not that I'm aware. They just took off.
Not that you're aware. But you guys did get a map on how to navigate this cave system inside the mountain, and I believe that's where we last left everyone. So
I do think I did say that Orpheus and I need to get to the wizard. and pointed to
Yes.
that on the map. And so I
Yes.
believe everyone was all together and we're just
Yeah,
hightailing it.
yeah, we're going. I'm with you, bud. I just don't know
Perfect.
why we're going. Why
Oh,
do
I'm
we
gonna
need to?
die.
Oh, death. Again.
Yeah, that's bad.
This
Yeah.
pointing at me and that pointing at Orpheus. Could be death. Probably sooner for me than Orpheus, but too soon in any case. And then I continue hustling.
All right. Cyrus is actually going to run up all excitedly after Jens and like tap him on the shoulder and be like, Jens, I have a joke for you.
Now?
But like it's funny. And you told me like next time I had a joke, I was supposed to tell you that I have a joke.
Well, can it wait?
Not really. Like we can do this while we run. It's fine.
Okay.
So like you seem to be a little stressed, right? But don't worry.
Sure.
There's no need to lose your head.
Cyrus, I'm gonna lose my head.
No, it's fine. It's funny, see, because you're not going to lose your head because we're going to stop that. But like you
Okay.
might, which is what kind of makes it funny. And like people say lose your head as like they're like, being really stressed and going crazy or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
no,
but
I got it. I got you.
you seem a little frazzled, so like it's funny, right?
Cyrus, would it be funny if you were about to lose your head? Would that be funny if we were telling jokes about that?
Well,
I guess in Cyrus's defense, if the roles were reversed, I would be making jokes.
like someone had to make the joke, and I'm just proud that I thought it up. So I'm waiting for someone to congratulate me.
I'm not that fit anymore. I need to make oxygen choices.
Jared's gonna look around. Anybody?
Yeah.
Pharaoh will not make eye contact.
All right.
I'm gonna like
Cyrus-
very quietly go over to Cyrus and be like, that was actually a pretty good joke. I don't want to lose my head, but that was a pretty good joke. I have to admit. Well done.
Speaking of losing your heads, both Jens and Orpheus take another -1 to your overall charisma score.
How many times did that happen? I only have it down as -1 right
Yeah,
now,
so you
but I
should
feel
have
like
it down
happened
from
more.
-1 from last session, and then this
Okay.
is the second one coming in. I did tell you in that session to take it down a second time, but then we did some stuff in between the time lapse that I thought was going to happen, so I said get it back, which
Oh,
might be
okay,
what you're
cool.
thinking. Yeah.
All right, I'm not quite as bad as I thought then.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay.
Do we notice the change? Like, is there a noticeable change since we left the Babel?
It's so for the mechanics purpose, it happens every hour, but for your guys' RP experience, think of it as a continuation constantly over time. So their faces getting more and more grotesque, like boils are just spotting in new areas. Some of them are bursting and spitting out with a certain projectile. Most of you are staying far enough away from the front of their faces that you're not getting spewed with it. But if you had a prolonged conversation with them, I might roll a percentile to see what happens.
Cyrus
Goddamn.
is going to
My perfect skin.
take out a spare set of clothes because he has a few of them, and just like offer. It's like, do you want to? I'm not saying you look bad. I'm thinking like, do you just want to cover your face? Just like wrap it up like a bandit, like a bandage. Like just like wrap, just like I don't know. Jens, you help me out here. Something with like humors or
Jens double checks the map at like a corner or something, and then just like tries to run even faster.
I'm right
all right,
behind
it's
him.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. We can keep running.
Oh my god.
Jens, I would like you to make a wisdom-based survival check, please.
Ooh, that's not great.
You can do it with advantage.
Okay, we're gonna go with the. Ooh, all right, we're going gold and gold.
Nice. GG.
With advantage, you say?
Yes, I say.
So there is a natural 20 on there,
Ooh.
which does bring us
Nice.
to a 15.
Nice. This is just a standard check, not an attack, so the naturalness does not sway. But
Nonetheless,
you are able to navigate this cave system fairly well. The map is not a perfect one-to-one. There's obviously some nuances of the actual geography of the cave that are just missed in the map, but you are able to navigate this fairly fast. It is quite a descent you have to go down. Basically, you're up here and the wizard is way the hell down here, and there's a whole bunch of zigging and zagging that you guys have to do. You're not moving slow enough to see if there's any noticeable threats or dangers as you guys go through this because you're just hoofing it. Now, everyone pick a number that's different from 1 to 100, starting with Samson.
69.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, Emily,
80.
Cyrus,
1.
and also remember the number you picked. Clay,
27.
Riley,
42.
and
Nice.
Swap.
8.
Okay. Any of those numbers I roll and not good stuff happens. Cyrus, you said 1, right?
I did.
Nice.
And
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Cool.
So you guys are hoofing it. Jens, by your estimation at this point, you're probably over 2/3 of the way there. You're pretty close. It's been about 45 minutes though since you left. And for mechanical purposes, since I last made you lose a point of charisma. And Cyrus, you're running, trying to keep pace. You don't want to lose your friends. You know it's dire circumstances, even though you're looking to make some jokes. And you roll a dex save for me here, please. Roll a DC 11
Yeah.
dex save.
Totally.
Oh.
That's a 16 on the die, which makes it a 15.
Nice. You slip in a patch of something, but you don't lose your footing. You keep going. Would you stop to investigate what you slipped in, or would you just keep on going?
I'll take a look. Yeah, I'll let everyone else keep running. I think I can catch up to them.
Okay, perfect. So everyone keeps running, and we're just with Cyrus here. Cyrus, you start looking, and it's a little bit dark. You can't quite figure out what's going on, but you notice there's a spot of like some greenish, yellowish slime on the ground. Would you care to investigate further? You have stopped keeping pace with the party.
Greenish yellowish slime. Is it just like a puddle? Is it trail?
Would you like to roll an investigation to see if you can spot the
Sure.
difference?
I'll investigate it and take a little bit of a closer look at it.
Investigating, it's kind of hard to tell. You're gonna have to like get in there. It takes a little bit more time than you would have thought. The party's a little bit of ways now.
I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but like whatever.
What's the
you can give
maximum
me,
amount of time you'd spend?
I'll spend like 10 seconds.
10 seconds? Okay. Yeah, you have no idea if this is a streak, a skid mark, something dripping from the ceiling, or a puddle. It's could
Okay.
be any of those things. With 10 seconds of time, you have no clue.
Well, do I have enough time to like I stepped in it, so like put a little bit on, like bend down, take a little bit off my shoe or something, and have it in my hand?
Not with 10 seconds. It would add at least another 10 seconds to that. But yeah, you can get some in your hand if you'd like.
Sure, I'll do that, and then I'll just like keep running after my friends, and then like try and look at this thing while I run.
All right. Yeah, you still have no idea.
Fair enough.
All right. And Jens, you said 42, right?
Yep.
Okay, I rolled 41, so we're good. So everyone except Cyrus makes it to this little clay door. It's almost like the end of one of these caves. So the caves were like varying in size, but you guys could always stand up and run through them, no problem. By the end here, you guys had to crouch down and get maybe into, for the people that are pushing 5 foot something, you definitely have to crouch down, make yourself small. But everyone who's like 5 foot or just a little bit over, you guys are fine to walk through this. And it gets narrower and narrower, and then you get to this little clay door. It's almost circular the way it's cut out of this rock. It's not like a rectangular style door. But yeah, what do you guys do? Do you wait the extra 30 seconds for Cyrus to catch up?
Should we just bang on the door?
And we just bang on the door.
yeah,
I'll be
just
Uh,
follow
the front.
Jens.
Jens, you bang on the door?
I'll play my horn loudly outside the door also.
I rolled the same number both times for anyway. Nothing happens. You
I try
bang
to
very
open.
loudly, you played the horn incredibly loudly, but nothing happens.
I try to open the door.
Door appears to be locked.
Samson, do you mind?
I'm just gonna be like, how fragile is the door?
Yeah, can I come up and kind of like just put my ear up to the door and kind of knock on it a little bit to kind of get a feel for like how solid it is?
Yeah. Yeah. Roll me an intelligence check. So just your int mod.
Can I give him the help action by like, leaning in and listening as well?
Not really for this because it's gonna be kind of
Okay.
independent.
Fair enough.
That's good old 3 minus 1, so 2.
This room is tiny. You don't hear any noise bouncing back or any sort of echo, which is clearly what you'd expect. It's clearly a dead end.
Doesn't look like there's anything past this wall, boss. I don't think that we can get through there.
I'll do a repeat of what Samson did. You know, when you see someone like struggling with
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and you
Go
like
for
could just
it.
go up and like see for yourself.
Yeah, you can do the same sort of tap on the door. And just intelligence.
In
Or-
straight intelligence is 14.
Well, if you have investigation, I guess you can add the investigation modifier.
I do not have investigation.
So 14.
Yeah.
But with a 14, you also get the same dampening that Samson heard that would make you think that there's no volume to this room, but you're pretty sure it's because the door is made of clay.
Right.
I
So this
kicked
is
the
not
door.
going to tell you. Sorry?
I kicked the door.
Athletics, please.
Ooh, 14.
Nice. The door shatters into about 14 pieces.
About 14.
And about 14. Orpheus does a quick count. It's like, yep, 14 pieces. And you see that this room is incredibly large and it goes into a system of caves. And just off in the left corner, you see someone, or what you presume is someone, but really it's this bright purple ball. You think someone's just hunched over in the corner.
Do you think that's the
Hello.
wizard?
Is that our
The wizard?
wizard?
Well, you know them wizards. They're a tricky folk. They could look like anything if they're up to their experiments or magic. What you doodle? I admit I don't know the first thing about the magic that them wizards do, but it could be anything.
What you doodles was
I am
pretty
exactly.
much hitting the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm. I'm
They
very curious about the magic.
they don't seem to move at Jens's very loud hello, almost as if they can't hear you or didn't hear you.
I'll just like run up to them and be like, no, like the very annoying sort of like trying to get customer service where you're like, hello, we sort of need you right now.
You go up to this person and like tap on them and say hello, and you hear a loud shriek of come out of this person, and they start flying up in the air. You get a look at their face a little bit, and they're very, very old, and this person has a beard that probably stretches the length of their body, and they just say, "Oh my goodness, you scared the living bejesus out of me!" Oh. And they're just kind of like hovering up in the air, pretty much with their back against the ceiling of the cave here, and they're keeping a good 30 feet from you, like, "Oh, it's intruders!" Oh, oh.
No, we're not intruders. I'm gonna like very carefully like move my hand off of my face so that like none of my
Ugly
companions can
intruders!
see it, but the wizard can.
Ugh!
And I'm like,
Ugh, you're so ugly and horrifying. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Ugh.
I'm gonna
And they're
put
just
my
going
hand
even
back
further
over my
away
face.
from you. You put your hand back over your face. Okay.
Yeah.
They start to do something, and just for the sake of it, because you guys are all gonna want to do things, I'm just gonna say roll initiative.
Should I be rolling initiative? Have I caught up to everyone at this point?
Yeah, you caught up when they were trying to figure out how to open a door.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. Clearly smash it into a million pieces.
Well, I mean, makes sense to me.
And while everyone is getting their initiative sorted out, this person is going to go ahead and cast a spell.
Great initiatives, guys.
It's okay. They didn't get a great initiative either, but they do get the surprise round because they're starting combat. And you guys did not expect that.
Fair enough.
Maybe we shouldn't have broken into the room of the person we're trying to get help from.
I mean, in
Did
your
you follow
guys'
the map?
defense, you did knock.
Did I follow a map? Yes, I did.
Did you like take us to the right place? Because I mean, I guess they're casting a spell, so probably magic, magician, mage person, wizard. That's the word. Gosh,
Words are hard.
words are so hard when you have an intelligence modifier of negative something or other. Common is the hardest language. There are so many exceptions to the rules. Oh my gosh.
My goodness.
One
I
would
gotta
think that
say-
common is very much a pigeon kind of language of like it's got elvish, it's got dwarvish, it's got giant.
It's like a trader's tongue, right?
Yeah.
Sure, but then like you essentially need to know all of them, all of those languages a little bit. Whereas like I just think Celestial is just so natural. It flows, it sounds nice.
Celestial?
Yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
No? Well, I mean,
Okay.
What do you think is best for you then? What's your favorite language?
Well, you guys are
This is the
discussing your favorite
Cyrus starts
language.
as he arrives.
While you're discussing your favorite language, this magic user is doing something in the air. They grab this glowing stick that appears to be of crystal, and they just kind of wave it around their face a bunch and wave it around you. And all of a sudden they drop out of the air like an idiot, and fall to the ground, but they continue casting their spell at you. And I need everyone to make a wisdom save, please.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh man, I'm hitting hard on the rolls
My
today.
dice are hot tonight. That's a 20 down to 15.
You
Dang.
succeed, Jens.
Not one.
That's a
You
4 for me.
fail, Barrow.
The 10?
It's a 14 DC. I'll just tell you guys that.
It was
Fail.
wisdom, right? It
Sorry?
was wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does -3 survive?
No.
I got a 15 though.
Okay. So everyone except Cyrus and Jens, you guys are all charmed, incapacitated with a speed of 0. But you're charmed.
What can we do when we're charmed? We just can't attack, right? Can we persuade?
I wasn't planning to attack anyways.
They have, so you can't attack them, Clay, and they have advantage on like persuasion and those sorts of checks against you.
Okay.
The incapacitated also means that you can't take actions or reactions, and the move being 0 just means that you can't move. So the wizard cast that spell at you guys, and they fell to the ground in the process, and they see that it worked on 2/3 of the party, but then look at Cyrus and Jens, who are clearly unaffected, and he just cowers and starts crutching over, just says, "Oh, please don't hurt me."
It's the Ice King.
And then they're just like cowering in the corner with their purple cloak kind of over their head in a ball shape.
Oh.
But yeah, whoever's next. So Jens, you can take your turn.
Jens takes a knee and spreads his arms out wide with his palms to the wizard, moving very slowly. I'm so sorry for intruding. Urgency has robbed us of our manners. We are only here to beg for your help.
So Orpheus and Jens, you guys lose another point of charisma here. And Jens, I need you to roll a persuasion, please.
You had to do that before.
I suppose there's
do
no way
that
that I can.
first and then roll.
There's no way that I can give the help action because I
You
would
can
want
give the
to
help
support
action.
it.
You can give the
Okay.
help action, so you get advantage, Jens. Yes,
How
100%
do
you
you give
can.
me the help action?
How?
Oh, you're Cyrus Zeral. You just stand there looking noble.
I'm just gonna like, yes, I'm gonna be like so proud of you to have said like that you forgot your manners. I'm like, he's usually so good with his manners too.
Turns into a
What a
pillar of
polite young
kindness.
man.
So even with advantage, assuming I get to do the roll before I lose my next point of charisma, that is a 6.
It's after you lose the point, so that's
Then that is a 5.
yeah. Yeah, this individual just continues to cower in a ball, just like openly weeping, like
Right. We need someone much more charming than me. And I try to shake Orpheus out of his stupor.
you can certainly try.
I will try.
And nothing happens.
Oh,
Wait, so we can't like attempt to persuade this person while we're charmed?
Well, you're charmed. You guys can talk to them. And I'll
Yep.
let you do persuasion, or I don't know if you'll get to do persuasion checks, but you can definitely talk to them and I'll like
Well, I was just planning on saying something, so
yeah,
that's
saying
all.
something's fine. Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
But the way charm works, Vito, is like basically you're amenable to the person who charmed you. So you're like going
Totally.
with the flow. You don't feel the need to like convince them of anything. You're just like, yeah, they're my buddy. We're just hanging out. We're having a good time.
For sure. Yeah. Mhm, mhm.
And that takes us to Vero, but I'm just gonna skip everyone who's charmed because technically you guys can't take actions or move right now. And bonus actions are a type of action, so the only thing you can really do is like say a couple of words. So if you guys want, before I go to Cyrus, is there any like couple of phrases you guys want to say before Cyrus takes an action?
Oh, for sure. Vero's gonna be like, whoa, whoa, hey there.
Okay. Orpheus?
I'm just gonna basically keep repeating what I've been saying. I'd be like, we really need help. We really need help. This is a big emergency. And I'm like getting tears in my eyes at this point.
And Hatu?
I'm just impressed by his magic. I'm like, damn.
And then Samson.
Friend, would you like some cookies?
And Cyrus,
cookies?
you get a turn.
Now to reiterate what Jens was saying, really sorry for coming in here, and I'm gonna like walk up to this guy and just like sit down on the ground next to him, and just be like, look, my friends, I think Jens was saying he's got like this sort of curse thing going on, and like we didn't mean to intrude. We're your friends. We want to be friendly, but you know, Babel said that you'd help us. So like, would you be able to help my friends go like fix their face? They kind of need their faces fixed.
You say Babel, and this individual, like they're kind of like here crying like and they put their head up a little bit when you say Babel, and you say, did you say Babel?
Well, yeah, well, I didn't talk to Babel. Jens sort of talked to Babel. But yeah, like we met Babel.
Oh, Babel's the coolest person in this whole cave. I love Babel.
Babel is really great. But yeah, like I said, my friends kind of need some help, and Babel said that you'd be the best person for the job to, you know, help out my friends. So, I mean, and sorry, I forgot my manners a little bit. My name is Cyrus Zeral of the House of Zeral. It's a pleasure to meet you. What's your name?
Oh, me? I'm the Wizard King. I'm the king of all wizards. I'm the best wizard.
Wow.
You'll never find a better wizard than me.
You know what? I bet we came to the right place then. I'm sure you can fix up my friend's lickety split like it's no
Oh,
sweat off your back.
most certainly. I just need to sleep for an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's okay with my friends. Like we seemed a little pressed for time, but I think they can manage an hour.
Yeah, I used up all my
Jens?
magic in fear of you guys, so now I need a little break.
Right, of course. Jens, that's okay, right?
I that it depends. How long in total between you having a nap and fixing Orpheus and myself?
It depends. If there's any more interruptions like there was when you entered, then it could take longer.
Well, we'll make sure there's no interruptions.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Will you watch Petunia? She's my angel. I need someone to look after her while I'm taking a rest.
absolutely. We can watch Petunia for you.
It's go
Oh,
to.
and, and the Wizard King calls Petunia. And out from one of the cave systems, you see hovering with these little tiny bat wings, this very fat little tiny pseudo dragon.
Oh.
And Petunia like coughs a little bit and little like fireballs like spit out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, Petunia.
Basically, I
You
would
look
die for Petunia.
She's lovely.
At this point, the Wizard King snaps his fingers, and you guys are no longer charmed. He dropped the effect of that spell.
Damn, that was cool.
Oh, it was nothing. I learned that when I was a child.
Do I get the
That's
feeling
how I
like
made all my
everybody
friends.
is
Sorry.
at all interested in my offer of cookies?
You remind him of the offer of cookies. Looks over. He's like, "Oh yes, I'd love some cookies."
Perfect, perfect. My friends, I've been meaning to say, I know that I've seemed somewhat absent for the past short while, as if I was in another place. But as soon as we got into that conflict with the horrible face uglying that happened with our good comrades Jens and Orpheus, I started to think back on my old grandmother's cookie recipe. And it was said that by legend that Grandma Gregor's cookies could cure any ailment. So I've been trying to recollect in my hazy memory of my past life just how those cookies were made and to see if I could perhaps recant the recipe and bake them so that I could cure you of your disease. Now, it's no guarantee, you see. Grandma Gregor was also infamous for her lying. Just absolute stonewall liar all the time. It was really bad. But at the very least, if you died while having delicious cookies, that would be the best gift that I could offer you. So I reckon it's probably good for us to have those cookies on hand, whether this wizard heals you or not. So I'm going to do my best to recall that recipe and see if I can perhaps create those cookies here in this cave.
The Wizard King looks at
as a last
you.
meal, that actually does sound quite good. I appreciate it.
The Wizard King looks at you. The deadpan just says, "So you don't have any cookies then?"
I'll need to. You have a nap, and we'll see what we can do.
Ah, go figures. You have guests come over, they offer you food, and there's no food to be had. Ah! And he just like starts muttering and then wanders off away
All
to
right,
some other
see you in
cave
an
system.
hour.
Yeah.
That is not what I was expecting from the wizard.
Please, he's the Wizard King. I'm sure he's very stressful with all the responsibilities that he has. And I'm just gonna like go over and pet Petunia.
My friend.
Roll animal handling for me, there, Sars.
Ooh, whoops. This is a mistake.
Yep.
That's a 15 on the die, which makes it a 10.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Petunia doesn't try and bite you. She's okay with everything you got going on. Sorry, Clay, I cut you off there though.
Vera was gonna say, Jens, did Babel give us any other options other than dealing with this here wizard figure? I'm not sure that this fella's nap is gonna be as short as he promises, and we are pressed for time.
I agree, Phil.
Before I answer,
Making
Vero,
cookies.
Joe, I believe Babel said that with their eye, Babel could do it, right?
Yes, Babel said with their eye that Babel would be able to help. Or I don't know if Babel said explicitly, I can get rid of this if you get me my eye. I think Babel alluded to that fact.
Yeah.
But probably Jens thinks that Babel did say that.
Yeah. Vero, well, all of you, Orpheus in particular, I owe you an apology. I've been a little bit selfish in jumping to this as a solution because I'm going to be dead in 5 hours. Orpheus, I think that because of the nature of your magic and the way your humor is balanced to create your personality, that you have a little bit longer than I do. There's this option which seems the most expedient. Babel seemed to believe that if we restored their eye, that they would be able to heal us as well. However, the eye is in possession of Echo. To retrieve that eye, I believe, would take longer. Orpheus, maybe you would have time for that to work for you. If I think for myself, I have to wait here and hope that this wizard can cure me. If the rest of you want to get started on retrieving the eye, I would understand.
Jens, it's not selfish to want to live. That is a perfectly sensible thing. Perfectly sensible thing to want. And personally, I also don't want to be hideous. So I think this is definitely the best solution right now. So I will simply sit here with you, no matter what other people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, you gotta look your best when you take down the monster. Because, like, what about the like celebratory like group photo we take afterwards?
Photo?
Well, like when you look at something and you like ingrain it into your mind and like remember it, like
Like a painting,
yeah, like a painting.
but
Like,
in
but
your
it's
head.
like yeah, it's an internal painting. You want to be like looking
Well,
your
I suppose
best
if we
when that
hired a
happens.
painter, we could always have our likenesses changed for posterity.
As is customary for heroes to pose in front of a painter for a group portrait,
Exactly.
just to encapsulate the myth in time.
Jens is going to sit meditatively, and specifically, in Jens's former life, or just in life, I suppose, Jens knew and often cast the spell Greater Restoration. And so Jens is going to endeavor to recall that to mind.
Okay.
Samson is going to search for a pantry or kitchen or anything that stores any kind of food stuff in this wizard's home.
Sounds good. Everyone else, would you guys like to tell me what you do for the next hour? Orpheus, you can go last because I have something to say to you after everyone tells me what they're doing.
I'm gonna aimlessly walk around the different corridors and I'm like, just see what's up. And I'm gonna also try and find where the wizard went.
Okay.
He's sleeping. Don't you dare disturb him, Hati. He needs to rest. Okay?
Sure.
Vero, what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, Barrow will do the same. Just like wander aimlessly, not a care in
Wait.
the world, but not looking for the
Also,
wizard.
there
Okay.
I'm gonna keep Petunia company, but also, guys, there was something else. I don't know, there was some goo that I stepped in a while ago. So we shouldn't have company if it looks bad. Either way, we need to protect the Wizard King. So
Wait, was it the goo that made your skin
I
feel
don't know. It
nice?
was some greenish-y, yellowishy goo thing that I almost slipped in. It was kind of gross to be honest, but I didn't want to lose you guys, so I didn't stop to look.
Do you still carry
Okay.
the goo?
I don't think so. I sort of just stepped in it, and I'll check my shoe. Is it still on my shoe? I probably would have run it off at that point.
I didn't hear a single thing you said because I was switching my headphones.
Nice.
We're trying to figure out if the
Uh,
goo is still on Cyrus.
Dude, does Cyrus still have the goo? Like he stepped in it. I can't remember.
Oh,
Like, would I still have goo? Could I
would
look
you
at the
be
goo now?
investigating the goo? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. I was like, my headphones were about to die and I didn't want it to cause problems later. So I'm like, I'll quickly change this over. And then it wasn't working. Yeah.
that's okay.
So
You're here
I'll
now.
listen to what you said later, and I'm sure it was great.
You know, just in case, like, I was worried that goo things, whatever made the goo, might interrupt the Wizard King.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So, like, protect the Wizard
So
King.
you don't have the goo. You're like holding it in your hand, but you're running. You have like
Yeah,
maybe some crusted bits that dried up on your hand and on your shoe.
gross.
But
Gross.
it's like a yellowy green, and that's all you really can deduce from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there was like this thing, I guess, that made goo. So keep an eye out, I guess.
Are you saying that to the
Okay.
wizard? Because he's already gone.
No, no, no. I'm saying that to the party,
Oh, okay.
to Vero and Hati specifically, who were thinking about just wandering around and potentially disturbing our host.
I'm going to temporarily interrupt my search and grab Cyrus's hands that have the little flaky bits of goo and kind of just smell them and look at them. And I'm trying to identify if these could potentially be ingredients for my grandmother's cookies.
Cyrus is going to be a little wary. He's like, don't lick my hand, bro.
Samson, you're 100% sure that this goo is not edible.
This isn't relevant, Cyrus.
Oh,
We
okay.
need cookie ingredients right now. It's the
Hmm,
only way to fix this.
I see.
So Cyrus, what are you doing then while everyone else is off doing their thing?
I'm gonna keep Petunia company because that's what we were asked to do. And if Petunia wants to go somewhere, then sure. If she's happy just hanging out with me, then like I'll just stay in view of the door that we smashed to bits.
Okay, so I'm gonna go around and go to everyone's things. But first, before we start going to everyone's things, I need to say what happens to Orpheus.
oh
So
no.
don't worry, it's not that bad.
Why are things happening?
So Orpheus, everything's going on. You know, the Wizard King was all upset and tried to fight you guys, and then wandered off to go take a nap. Everyone's now skirting around doing their own thing, and you're looking around the area, and you're noticing where you first saw the Wizard King. There's a little desk there, and there's a book, and you recognize this book. It's a book about your father.
Uh-oh.
So with that information, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna very subtly go and sit at the desk and
Okay.
pretend to be doing something else, but I'm gonna actually look at this book.
Yeah, no one has any idea what you're doing. We'll come back to this later.
Nice.
So now we'll start going around to what everyone's doing. So Jens is trying to recall Greater Restoration.
I think in this moment,
Well, this is like the next hour of activity.
well, yes, the moment being the in this hour, if it seems necessary, like if this is something that wizardry alone can't deal with, Jens might actually reach out mentally to Tyr.
Hmm.
I think entirely to help Orpheus. I think for Jens himself, I know that I don't know. I suspect that Tyr and Jens are just like out and done. But maybe for Orpheus.
Yeah, so after about 5 or 10 minutes trying to think of the spell Greater Restoration or call it, you realize this is a fruitless effort as you have no inkling of any memory of the spell other than in name only and what it does. But it's almost like you never learned it or had any recollection of ever casting it successfully. So
Right.
you don't remember any of the details of the spell. You just know the name and what it does, what it's good for exactly.
Okay.
So you think that might be a little fruitless. So if you want to spend the rest of the time saying prayer to Tyr, that's totally acceptable.
I think that's the direction it would go. Yeah.
All right. Then moving along in the random circle I've decided based off the Zoom layout. Samson, we're looking for a kitchen.
Yeah, anything that stores food.
Okay. Samson, your relationship to magic, I believe we've discussed offline in the past. You were pretty like you didn't know a lot about magic. It wasn't your forte, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. You find a room that has lots of powders and liquids and a basin. You think this must be the kitchen.
Perfect.
Awesome. We'll come back to you in a moment here. Cyrus, you're keeping Petunia company. You already did the animal handling. She's pretty okay with you, so you guys are just chilling. And then
Cool.
Vero, you're wandering off just to explore the general cave system, right? So you and Hati first start going down one corridor together because there's only one main corridor that left this area. But Hati goes left and you decide to go right because you know Hati's looking for something different. Also, just to jump quickly to Hati and then back to you, Hati, it's immediately obvious which way the Wizard King went because the snoring is legendary. As soon as you get in that hallway, you can hear a kind of sound.
Nice.
Side note, there's a family dinner upstairs right now, and I'm sure they can hear all this loudness.
Quality.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, so that's why you go the opposite direction, and Clay, you go into one direction and it opens up into a larger cave system, and there appears to be some interior flowing of water in here. Based off what you've heard about water around here, you're a little bit wary as to the nature of this water. But it seems to be a room where there's this nice stream that flows through. And if you didn't know anything about this universe, you'd almost think this is a nice little Zen garden area because there's almost like this white sand that comes really close to where the water is, and it kind of disappears back into rock almost like a meter or so away from the water. This room does continue on. If you want to stay in here, you can do some investigation or move on out, but that's where you are right now. So think about that for a sec, and then I'll say what Hottie finds, and then I'll keep going around in this rotisserie style fashion. So Hati, you go the opposite direction, and you come upon a room that is clearly a bedroom. There wasn't really any door, but there are these long strings that have these ruby, gem, and sapphire bulbs just evenly spaced along each of the chains, kind of like a bead door from the 70s. Do you want
Okay.
to try and open it and go inside?
And I know that that's where the snoring is coming from.
You know that's where the snoring's coming from, and you're pretty sure you can see the Wizard King inside sleeping in a weird position.
If he is sleeping, I'm just gonna like peer in to see if I see anything interesting, but then I'm gonna continue walking.
Would you try and parse the beads, or would you try and look through without touching them?
Look through without touching them.
You can't really make out much of anything. The beads are spaced enough that you can see through and see general shapes like the Wizard King, but you can't see any nuanced details of the room because it's also pretty dark in there.
Okay. And is that like the only room there is, or is there
You
does the
can
path
keep
continue?
going, and there's other rooms. There is
I'll
going
keep
to be an
going.
endless amount of rooms that I can describe.
I'll keep going.
Okay, you'll keep going. We'll come back to that then. All right, Orpheus, you've been waiting. What would you like to do with this book?
What is the nature of the book? Like if I flip through it, what are the vibes of it?
It's kind of it's not quite a religious text, but it's more like a code of laws in a certain sense. You as a character know what this is because of your upbringing and everything, but it seems to be the code of laws that your father endorses.
Okay, so it's like
It's
it's not
not
like
quite religion, but it's not quite like a legal doctrine. It's almost like a moral code, but not quite in a religious sense.
okay. Does it seem like
Would you like to roll an investigation check on this book?
yes?
Okay, go ahead and do that.
Oh, that's really good. That's a 19.
Wizard King's a warlock and Patron's your dad.
Uh-oh. That's why he's taking a short rest. It's all coming together.
He used both his spell slots.
That's so relatable.
Yeah. Good times.
I can't believe I didn't clock that. I was just like, oh yeah, Joe being weird with the rest. It's just a homebrew mechanic thing. Nope. No, it's not.
Warlocks. Yeah.
Why did we never insight check the Wizard King? We're so like we insight check
The
everyone like
sketchiest man alive.
That's,
We're just
that's
like,
kind of what I
whatever.
wanted to do when I went into the room. I was like,
It's
oh,
called trust, guys.
Yeah, learn it.
Yeah.
Given this
Get rid of it.
information, what vibes do I now get from the Wizard King? Like if I look through his desk a little bit.
So I'm just going to want a separate this isn't so much an investigation, this will be an insight check, and you can use intelligence for the insight.
Okay. 12.
Dude's an idiot. I can't tell you a particular reason from his desk, but just the way things are laid out and what you know about your father, warlocks, magic in general. Yeah, dude's a little bit simple-minded. You're not sure what that means for his intentions towards you, but you think that could be manipulated. Maybe he's a little bit gullible. You're not sure if he's a patron of your dad because of the moral alignment, or just because dude was like, I'm gonna be a warlock and I want to have a fiend as my patron.
He just decided, he was like, I'm too stupid to be a wizard. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. Just
Okay.
pick the first fiend that offered up some power.
But I don't get the vibe that he's like evil.
You don't get any sort of lawful evil or neutral evil vibes. You're getting more lawful stupid, maybe chaotic stupid, possibly. I mean, you know your dad and you know his tendencies, so you're trying to like piece it together, but like you're finding some weird notes about this person just writing to himself, almost like not quite diary entries, but like notes that sound like a diary entry.
Okay.
So the way this person writes notes, it's like there's a little story behind why they need everything. Like, oh, today Petunia who hurt herself going down into the lower caves, so I need to go get this sort of ointment, and you find it in this particular region of the underworld, and this region is terrible because of this person that I know that lives over there. And so every note is written like that.
Amazing. I love that.
But yeah, that's sorry, one more thing and then I'm gonna keep going along here.
Okay. I'm gonna very quickly slip the book into my bag.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna take out my disguise kit and start covering up my boils.
Okay, cool. Cyrus, you see all of this happening. Orpheus is being super obvious.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm
You
not-
didn't notice Orpheus until she started like covering up all of her boils, but she was doing something and then all of a sudden started making a crap ton of noise, and you noticed this immediately.
You know what? I'm not gonna press. I mean, Orpheus, I can understand a little bit of self-consciousness. It's fine. I'm not really gonna say anything, just gonna leave it be. Would I also be seeing Jens start turning to prayer?
Jens, would you when you turn to prayer, would you make it obvious, or would it just kind of be like in a similar sort of meditative stance and your thoughts just change, which is kind of what I was picturing. I don't know what you were picturing.
I think it would just be in the meditative
Okay.
stance.
Okay.
And I think Jens is like in like the classic meditative pose. Like I'm just sitting cross-legged with my facing a wall with my eyes closed.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay. So returning to oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, so I was just gonna say that unless we're coming back to Cyrus, if you were gonna do the circle again.
I'm gonna keep going the circle. I just did that because it was related to Orpheus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
Then
gonna
I'll
go to
wait till my turn.
Samson next. So Samson, you're in this room with all of these liquids and powders, and there's this big basin, and you're noticing there's a couple books. Now, would you like to try and go through a book to try and find recipes, or do you want to just experiment around, see if you can figure out what things are to recall the recipe?
Well, okay, so I might not know a lot about magic, but you don't
Mhm.
get to be this beefy without knowing something about food. So I want to test to see if any of these things seem edible at all to me.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a investigation check.
11.
Yeah, you're pretty sure this isn't traditional food. This is definitely not any food you ever grew up with. You're 100% certain you cannot make your grandmother's cookie recipe from these ingredients.
Okay.
You're not sure what they're used for, though. You just know that they're clearly not food you're used to. Maybe it's the food of the underworld because you guys haven't needed to eat since you're down here. So maybe there's some weird food that people normally eat, but you're not certain.
Okay, so do I have enough time to go back
Oh,
to
yeah.
the main room and just say to the group, friends, there's a sort of strange pantry, but not filled with any food that I recognize. If any of you want to spend some time in there and see if there's perhaps a restorative cure that can be brewed or something, one of you that has more knowledge of these arcane magic things, I don't know what it is, but somebody wants to go and play around in there, have at her. I've got to keep looking for the traditional food-filled pantry if there is one.
Okay. So in the main area, there's Cyrus, Jens, and Orpheus. So you say that to them,
Yep.
and then we'll come back to you guys, and you continue on looking for another pantry or an
Perfect.
actual pantry.
Yes.
So you go down in the direction that Vero and Hati went. You obviously hear the snoring because it's super obvious as soon as you go down this corridor. You can keep going further down the corridor, or you can go to the other direction of the snoring. I forget which way I said the two of you went, but the direction that Clay went is away from the
I
snoring.
think that was left.
There you go. So you can go left away from the snoring, straight down, or right into what is probably the Wizard King's quarters.
Yeah, I'll probably go away from the snoring.
Okay. So you cut left and you find this river area that may or may not contain Vero. So in the interest of continuity, I'm going to cut to Vero now, who was left in this room. And Vero, what did you decide to do?
Just chilling and contemplating the beauty of flowing water.
Okay. Anything
Whistling a
particular?
tune.
Okay. You know what? Gain inspiration. That's the most you thing to do.
All right.
Hero's like, I'm a Taoist now.
I'm just chilling. Okay. So we'll come back to that in a second. Yes, Cyrus, when this party splits into 6.
And you
Yeah.
have to DM us all individually now.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can do 6 cut twos. It's fine. So speaking of continuing the cut twos, Hati.
Yes.
Oh wait, no, we did a little bit of yours already at the beginning technically. So I guess I'll cut back to Cyrus, Jens, and Orpheus. You guys are all in one area. Samson comes in and says that to you. What do you
That's
guys
all
do
right.
with that
I'm not too
information?
hungry.
Okay.
How much time has elapsed around now?
A few minutes. Basically, you've realized that you're not gonna get anywhere by recalling the spell, and you just started turning to prayer in the solitude of your mind.
Yeah. I am going to make a mental note to myself. So I'm gonna, for the sake of Orpheus alone, I'm gonna keep trying to harass Tyr a little bit. If I don't think I get anything when we're like a little past, like say half an hour, then I'm gonna switch gears and instead of trying to recall the cleric method of casting Greater Restoration, I'll see if I can recreate a wizard's method of replicating Remove Curse with some of these odd ingredients in the pantry.
Okay, so you're gonna head to the pantry then.
In maybe like 20 minutes from now.
Okay, so I'll come back to you in a little while then, because I think a lot of moving parts are gonna happen in the meantime.
Yep.
Okay.
And Cyrus is just going to be sitting with Petunia and starting to tell her about the history of Zeral. Just telling her stories about life at home and the Zeral family tree and all that sort of stuff.
It's going well. Petunia hasn't left yet and is paying attention to
Nice.
you think.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just also going to be like keeping one eye on the door still, like since we're sitting in that area, just making sure nothing comes in.
Makes sense. Okay. So back to Vero and Samson. You guys are in the river sand room. Samson has just come into the room, Vero, and you immediately notice his presence. What do you guys do?
Vero,
Go ahead.
does any of this look edible to you?
And are you presenting the stuff you're holding?
No, I'm just saying anything in this room, the
Uh,
sand or
Oh, well, water is typically an edible substance, but our friend warned us off from the lakes in this region, and I think our experience has shown that nothing is as it seems. Unless you're a brave soul willing to take some serious risks, I would say nothing in this room is edible. But if you like a little bit of adventure in your downtime, this water might be edible. Whether or not you'd find it tasteful, I can't say.
can I smell the water?
Yeah, you can get right up to it and give it a smell without touching it, or you can touch it if you'd like.
I'll just try to dangle my nose over it.
Yeah, you dangle your nose 6 inches or so above the water, give it a good whiff, and like water, doesn't really have a smell.
Okay, no smell. I'm not picking up any aromatics that would potentially imbue the cookies with any kind of, you know, delicacy to them. So I think this water won't come into play in the recipe. But thank you, Vera. Are there any other rooms like leading off of this room? Any hallways, or is this a dead end?
So to give you a better mind picture of this room, basically it's an opening up and there is a hole in the ceiling where the water is coming down, and then it's going off into another small hole and kind of cuts a river. And on the other side of that river from where you guys are standing, there is a small exit that you would really have to crouch to get through, but you could make through. Or you can continue along your path, and there seems to be another cave that continues onward, and it's a little bit bigger. Plus, it's not across from the water. And the water stream, just to give you guys a sense of it, it's about 2.5, 3 feet wide. It's not super wide river.
So I'm going to turn to Vero and say, Vero, my friend, I feel that these cookies must be made in order to serve the quest and the party. I will continue on in search of a pantry. Will you join me?
I think I'll stay here. I'm quite content.
That's fine too. You be well. And then I rush off.
Okay.
Good luck.
So we'll come back to Samson in a moment. I want to return to Hati now. So Hati, you had just left the Wizard King's quarters and you were going to venture off further down the hall.
Yep.
Okay. You venture off for a ways, and the tunnel seems to get smaller and smaller and smaller until even for you as a Dwergar, it's a little uncomfortable. It's getting about to like 2.5 feet in diameter, and then you come upon a similar yet smaller clay door to the one you actually found yourselves when you got to this cave entrance, or when you got to this whole system entrance.
Well, I guess I'll like crouch down and give it a little knock.
Yeah, like well actually Nahati didn't knock before, but you don't notice any echo or anything. So you're like, oh yeah, probably a clay door. Or dead end.
I'll
It's a 50-50.
I'll try and open the door.
You give it a little jiggle and it appears to be locked.
And again, remembering what Orpheus did, I'll give it a kick.
All right. You are crouched down and it's a little bit cramped for you, so roll an athletics check with disadvantage.
Athletics with disadvantage. Oh, damn it. Got a 9.
You try to kick the door, you kind of get on your back so you can get more leverage with your feet, but you kind of lose your grip a little bit, slip, and you don't quite hit it. But if you want, you can take several minutes and just try and like jab this door until you eventually get it to knock down if you'd like.
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to you. You're currently trying to break down a door. So I've lost track of how I've been doing this, but I think it's Orpheus next.
How's my face looking?
You've pretty much covered it up, but it seems, or it feels like that it's in a dynamic alteration state where you're getting more boils as time goes on. So you can cover up what's there, but you know, it's, yeah. Disguise kit's only doing so much for you.
Bummer.
Makeup's not going to
Okay.
cover these welts.
I guess it'd be kind of bumpy anyway. I'm gonna sort of sit there forlorn and eavesdrop on Cyrus talking to Petunia for
Okay.
a while. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And Cyrus, you were just doing that. You weren't leaving the room or anything, were you?
Yeah, no, I'm just I can give a little bit about what I'm talking about if you want.
Sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure. So you would have come in partway through, so you would start hearing like, oh yeah, but great grandfathers are all like, it was back, oh gosh, I don't remember. The texts say it was hundreds of years ago, but there was a darkness that fell over the land, and the people were, crops weren't growing, people were starving, it was terrible, and uh great grandfather Zaral said that he was going to go make it right. So he left, and he said that he was going to banish the cold, but it was days before anything happened. But on the third day, when people were giving up hope, the sun came back, and it was bright and warm, and everyone cheered, and it was beautiful. And then right next to the shrine for great grandfather Zaral, there was a baby that just appeared, and there's no one like laid claim or anything to the child, so everyone just believes that it is the descendant of great grandfather Zaral and the son who he was able to bring back uh, into the sky. So they took the baby in and named her Solara, and she became our our chief and our ruler, and we've, as a descendant of her myself, the mantle keeps passing from parent to child. She's had kids and all that, so that was really the birth story of the House of Zaral, and the it's our rise, I suppose you could say, into being gods.
Petunia has rolled on over onto her back and is falling asleep with her legs up.
Nice. I'm gonna
That's
give
so
belly
cute.
rubs.
Nice. And Jens, you were still in this room too right now, right? Or had you moved on to the pantry?
I'm still in this room at this time.
Okay.
Probably close to heading over, but
All right. Let's go back to Vera. Are you just gonna keep chilling in the room?
Yeah, Vero's just gonna chill for what feels like 30 or 40 minutes and then come back before, the wizard thought he'd wake up in an hour, so come
Sounds
back
good.
before the wizard does.
Samson, you start going down the corridor, and eventually you make your way into a room that looks like it has food in it. It looks like it's a hoard of food, kind of like if someone was stockpiling for something.
This is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start to peruse the hoard of food and see what's what. See if I can identify anything that triggers the Grandma Gregor's cookie recipe in my mind.
Nice. Go ahead and give me a wisdom save right now.
With advantage?
No, just regular wisdom save.
What's 4 minus 5? Is that 15?
All right, cool. So you're going through these, you're going through the cupboards, and you're finding everything you think you would need for this recipe. You're like, okay, making cookies. I need some flour. I need some chocolate chips. Obviously, you need some sugar. You're finding all the stuff you need. You're going through. You're looking for supplies. You find some mixing bowls, some big wooden spoons. What you pretty sure are some utensils for measuring out your ingredients if you're gonna do that. And yeah, you can just go to town here and just full on try and make the cookies.
Perfect. Is there like a cooking like oven as well and everything that
There's some sort of stove or like a clay oven that you can light with a fire. There's some equipment for that and everything, and you can just like get that going and then bam.
Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start the process of putting these cookies together.
Nice. Okay, cool. That'll keep you occupied for the next 30 minutes or so. Um, not a bad way, just like that's how long it takes to make cookies. Yeah. Okay, so circling back then to Hati. You break down this
Yes.
door.
Hmm.
You go inside and it opens up immediately into a very large room. This is a dead end from what you can see, or at least at the edge of your dark vision appears to be a dead end. There is a pedestal in the center of the room, and there's some kind of light source or something fluorescent that is just lighting up this one pillar in the center of the room. And on that pillar, you see a basketball-sized orb. And this orb has this mystical glow that Hati would obviously assume is magic right off the get-go. And it's got this opaque, sort of translucent color to it. It's sort of a white, clearish color. And then on the inside, you're seeing this yellowy white vibrating light. It's kind of spherical, but it's pulsating in a way like it has like little spikes ever so slightly that go at a very slow fashion and change in direction.
Hati is very intrigued, and he's gonna go closer up to this orb and just try and figure out what actually it is. So I'm gonna do an Arcana check.
Nice. To describe exactly how Hati goes up to this.
So I think he's gonna be like, oh, very, very mystified by it, and then just like slowly walks up and like kind of looks around and just like sees exactly what goes around, like does a full 360 around it, and yeah,
Nice.
just amazed by it.
This is clearly some magical object. Maybe it's an enchanted orb or potentially something divine. But if it's not magical, it's definitely something of some kind of divinity, you think? Like in terms of
Okay.
schools of magic, that's where you would peg it. Which is like
That's-
normally you're not sure what any magical thing is, but you're pretty confident with this one. You feel pretty sure
Okay.
of your decision.
And like, I know Hati's like, I'm itching to actually catch the orb and pick it up, but at the back of my mind, it also, I can hear Yen saying, like, almost like saying, like, it could be cursed, or something along the lines of that. So I'm like, gonna do like, it's like, how safe do you think it is just to lift it and bring it to the rest of the party?
Are you asking me?
Oh, I'm like gonna do an inside check to see. He's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah. Here, I'll roll this one, so we don't get influenced by high or low numbers. Let's see. Insight. You are proficient in insight, which is good. Magical items are a gamble. Hati knows this as someone who's endlessly fascinated with them. But what's life without risk? It can't be that bad. Hati knows that a magical item can be very dangerous if you attune to it, but just touching it, like, come on. It doesn't look
Yeah,
like it's
come on.
electrified or anything. It's divination magic. How dangerous can it be?
Yep, in that case, I pick it up.
All right. Everyone in the main area and Clay, you guys hear a very piercingly loud scream come from the Wizard King's room.
Zoom
And-
clipped out the scream. It was silent.
It just it was a night terror.
The silent scream.
Insert a Wilhelm scream in post.
Yeah.
Really need to hear it though. Can you try again?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more time, okay, right?
No,
Aw.
it's not getting
Flipped
picked
out.
up.
Hang
It's
on,
okay.
hang on. No. We'll get this, damn it.
I like the Wilhelm scream
This is
idea. I think
important.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
This is important. You guys need the authenticity of hearing this. So I'm gonna put it in post, but I'll record it on my phone, which doesn't cut out things like this. So you'll not hear it one more time. Okay.
And we
Okay.
hear it.
So you guys in the main area and Clay all hear a shriek come from the Wizard King's room that sounds like
All right,
Did
we
it
got
come
the
through
first
that
bit of that. We got the first bit.
There we go. All right, that'll be added in post or the Wilhelm scream. We'll see. Anyway, the important thing is you three well actually no one sees this, but you kind of hear a thud onto the ground. You presume the people that can hear this, so Clay and everyone in the main area, that it's the Wizard King flopping out of bed. And then you hear the shuddering of beads, and that's it. What would the
And
what
we
would the four
just-
people that heard that like to do?
Go to the main area.
Yeah, yeah.
What does
Immediately.
Petunia do?
Good question.
Because I'm with Petunia. Petunia is my responsibility.
So you guys know dogs when they're on their back having their belly rubbed, and then a sound startles them. They kind of like switch to being up front with their heads up. That happens, and then like a moment passes, and then back to on their back.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so these sounds are just a normal thing that Petunia's okay with. So I'm not
Petunia's
gonna be
not
worried.
super worried about it.
If Petunia's not worried, Cyrus isn't worried.
Cool. Clay.
Hmm.
I think Jens snaps to his feet, kind of looks at Orpheus, kind of looks at Cyrus, looks at Petunia. Maybe Cyrus stays here with Petunia and we go just check it out.
Yeah, we gotta see what's happening. I don't want anything to happen to this guy before he helps us.
Clay,
Fair enough.
you went out into the main area, right? When you left down the further end of the corridor away from the main area, you see the Wizard King scuttling down that hallway. Would you like to follow the Wizard King rather than go into the main area?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Just keep
so
an eye on him.
yeah. So you go down the hallway and you see the door that I described to Hati is broken. And you see the Wizard King go in there and you see Hati holding this orb. And the Wizard King just says, "Put that down, please.
What is it?
It's my soul."
And I'm like carefully putting it down onto the back onto there. It's like,
Yeah.
how does that work?
You put it down, and then the Wizard King just breathes like a big sigh of relief, like, oh, please don't do that. It hurts so much.
How does
Did
that
you hear
work?
any of this from the food
The
preparation room?
The food preparation room was too far away, unfortunately.
Got it.
Yeah. You're in there happily making grandma's cookies.
All right.
Yeah. You're so excited to give these to Jens and Orpheus because you know it's gonna fix all their problems.
Sweet. I'm wearing an apron, by the way.
Oh yeah.
This
There
fancy
was
wearing an apron, like mixing this cookie dough.
just picturing.
Only
Samson
wearing an apron, by the way.
It says "kiss the cook."
Absolutely.
So yeah, you guys, Orpheus and Jens, you're making your way there. You're not there for this yet. Hachi, you ask how it works, and the Wizard King just says, "It works like this. You put that down over there, and then I go back to sleep. I'm gonna have to start from scratch now."
Well, since you're up already, why don't you just help my friends quickly and then you can go back to your sleep?
Yeah.
The way I see it, you've already had a little bit of sleep and you're up now.
I don't think
You
it's
might as
been enough
well.
time.
Are we over there now?
You guys are just coming upon after this conversation, and you see the Wizard King looking very frightened and not well rested.
Well, That was my
It's-
bad, guys.
It seems our little wizard friend has been awoken startlingly when his soul was gripped in the cold hands of our friend Hati. He tells me he needs to go start his nap all over again before he's able to help any of us.
Is there
You
anything
know,
else in this room?
Not that you guys can see. It's pretty much pitch black, and then there's this pedestal that's illuminated by some sort of fluorescent light source.
Uh, I think Jens stops himself from getting after Hati because he has that Jens little moment of, oh, I really jumped into trusting this guy really fast. And Jens is not going to touch the orb, but I'm going to examine it very carefully.
Okay. Yeah, so you start examining the orb, and as soon as would you touch it? Because it's back on the pedestal. Hati's put it down.
Don't think I would touch it, given
Yeah.
the reaction we saw it get.
Yeah, so examining this thing, you're aware that it's not a magical item, and it's not, but it is still kind of a divine thing. And this is, you've never seen anything like it, but it is the manifestation of a soul. So when the Wizard King says this is his soul, he's not lying. Well, he could be lying that it's his, but it is a soul, so at least there's
It is
that
a soul.
credibility. Now you guys at least know what you're looking for.
Right.
Yep. Just need to find mine.
Yeah. Pick up them until they hurt.
Exactly.
All right. I think that's good enough for Jens. What was the vibe Jens got from Babel? Was Babel divine, or was Babel something else?
Babel was a beholder, so vibes were a little bit hard to be got because of the uh, limited interactions Jens has had with beholders that were not trying to kill him.
Does this in any way resemble the possible eye of a beholder?
It could be. Never say never. This
Never say
could be the
never.
eye. It's a spherical shaped object. There's a smaller sphere inside it. Jens knows what eyes look like. This does fit the bill. It's a weird looking eye, but you've seen a lot of weird things. So this could be the eye, and the wizard could be a shyster who's fucking with you and potentially harboring Babel's eye, unbeknownst to Babel. Very possible.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like, do I know what a soul looks like?
Just like Jens, you've never seen a soul before, but would you like to do an Arcana check on the spherical object?
Sure.
Okay. No clue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great. Are you sure that I wouldn't know what a soul looks like?
Here, I'll roll again to give you advantage.
Okay.
And this is intelligence. Based on what the Wizard King said and the fact that you've never seen anything like this before, you're pretty sure that you'd take him at his word. And it looks less like an eye than it does something that you've never seen before, like a soul.
Okay.
Like you believe more that this was a soul, something you've never seen before with your eyes, and up until this point you didn't realize was a physical manifestation outside of a body, than you would believe that it's the eye of a beholder.
Okay. Cool.
Jens is gonna flip through his spell book, and I'm gonna find the pages that Zone of Truth are on. Show those to the Wizard King, and say, "Hey, do you mind, real quick before you go back to bed? Can you cast this real quick?"
He looks at the spell, and the DM's just gonna take a second. He looks it over and he grabs from inside his robe some really thin glasses and puts them on the edge of his nose and starts reading. And he just looks at you and says, "No."
Why not?
That's very strange that a wizard of some renown can't cast many spells.
No wizard can cast this spell. What are you talking about?
What do you mean no wizard? Lots of wizards can cast this spell.
No wizards can cast this spell, and I would know. I'm the king of wizards.
He's got you there. Cyrus isn't actually here.
What's wrong with the spell? We've seen someone else cast it. There's nothing wrong with the inscription.
Well, maybe a bard or a paladin or a cleric, but no wizard. What does Jens say?
Sorry, for the sake of listeners who don't have access to our chat, I think Samson, just apropos of nothing, as he's, mixing away, he's working really hard, just kind of goes, I would always have thought wizards functioned more like a democracy than a republic.
I say that to myself, just kind of as I'm stirring, because like grandma's recipe requires lots and lots of stirring the dough and kneading the dough. And it's I'm like, oh, why is he a wizard king? It doesn't seem to make much sense. I say to myself.
Samson's grandma just has the biggest biceps from stirring things all the time. She's never gotten a fight in her entire life, but everyone's afraid of her.
You don't mess with Samson's grandma. Everyone knows that.
Right. So back to Zone of Truth. Jens is gonna do like a real quick flip through the book and like check that against my own knowledge. Like, wait a second.
Oh,
is this a thing that wizards can do?
So yeah, no, wizards straight up can't cast Zone of Truth. According to the reference I have pulled up, it's a bard, cleric, and paladin spell only.
Huh.
Remember when I just let it be special cast that one time? And remember how the dude gave you another cleric and paladin spell and not a wizard spell?
What a jerk.
Like, no one's given you wizard spells. Confirmed by the king of wizards.
Shoot. Right then.
That's why I was laughing.
All right, well, you've kind of got me there. Sorry about that. That was a little bit rude to ask. I kind of jumped the gun on that. Our friend is very sorry that he disturbed your sleep.
It's okay. I didn't know you would go snooping around my house while I was sleeping. That's very rude. People don't normally do that.
I'm gonna say in Infernal, don't you think I have that right?
He responds back in Infernal and says, "No, I think you have that wrong."
Okay.
His voice sounds just as whiny and annoying in Infernal, by the way.
I
Like
can
when
imagine.
Orpheus does Infernal, it's very like it's much more of a darker tone of speech, but when he does it, it's still over here. Yeah. Anyway.
I think Jens is going to head back to that main area and quietly say to Cyrus, so as to not disturb Petunia, as far as I can tell, we're still a little bit stuck trusting the Wizard King. He has something he claims is his soul deeper within. Hati, Orpheus, and Vero all know where it is. I think if this doesn't pan out and I shuffle off this abyssal coil, it's worth having another look at that, and maybe that's the Eye of Babel, and you could bring that to Babel Maybe. It's just a thought.
Okay. Well, I mean, thanks for letting me know. I'll hopefully everything works out. We'd love to keep you around, Jens. Yeah, but souls, they're great things, gotta say. I miss mine. If it's a soul, good for him for having a soul. Yeah, all
That's
right,
true. And if
well,
it is his soul, I think that's a mark in his favor.
absolutely. Souls are good things to have.
Seemed like
I
it.
think they keep you accountable, because, repercussions to your soul and all that, acting good. Yeah, so if he's got one, honestly, he's bearing his soul to you. He was just letting you see it. Like, okay, he didn't want you touching it apparently, but
I mean, fair play, I would say.
Yep, yep.
seemed like a kind of nice guy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
It's an interesting way
but
to look at it.
well, okay. Well, I was just telling Petunia about my aunt and uncle, but yeah, appreciate it.
It's about this time in your guys' conversation that the Wizard King makes his way back up, after shooing everyone else out of the soul room. Be like, don't come back into the soul room. This is off limits. Just stay in the front of the house. Do you guys abide his wishes, or do you fight him on this?
Hati's reluctant, but he's like, fine.
As you guys leave, he starts taking the pieces of the clay door and then stacking them up together to make some kind of shape of the door. And then after you guys have your conversation, he does come back a little bit later and says, I need to start this rest all over again. I'll be back in another hour. And Orpheus and Jens, guys lose another charisma point.
So it has been an hour though.
Yeah, with the disturbance and everything, and then he took his time putting the pieces back together of the door because it really mattered to him.
How many hours do you have left, Jens?
4.
Enough.
Okay.
Enough.
Hopefully enough. I'm assuming that. What's that?
You have 2 hours left because when you hit 2 charisma, that's when it happens.
Oh,
You have 4 charisma
Gotcha.
points, but you have 2
gotcha,
hours.
gotcha. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Do I give them the correct number?
Would Jens give them the correct number, or would you not want your friends to worry?
If I know the correct number, I'll tell them the correct number because I always want people to be properly informed.
Then yes, you do know the correct number.
Okay.
So you can give that to them.
2 hours left.
Well, 1 hour of rest, as long as we don't disturb the Wizard King. Hati, please. We care about Jens. We want to keep him around.
Yep.
And
It was just
that's a
shiny.
buffer hour, so we're okay. We're all happy. We're kind of
I can sit.
committing at this point. We're staying here. I know a couple of us were having a little concerns about the wizardiness of our Wizard King, or ability to help us. Is everyone still good with us staying here, trusting our new friend?
I think
I
it's
mean,
the
you
best
should.
gamble we have right now.
I touched his soul. I feel like it's
Was it a warm soul? Was it a nice soul? Kind and gentle?
I'd like to think it was a warm soul. So,
Okay.
I did put it back.
Good. Well, as long as his soul remains intact and it was warm, kind, and gentle, I think that we've got nothing to fear.
In the interest of making sure that that we stay long enough to make sure Jens doesn't die, I'm not gonna mention that I don't think he's actually a wizard.
Okay, cool. Samson is making some amazing cookies, and they are just about ready to come out of the oven. Samson, what would you like to do with these freshly baked cookies?
How am I perceiving the smell on these cookies? Am I everything's feeling copacetic, everything's feeling all good?
Well, you're not the baker your grandmother was. Grandmother Gregor had quite the baking prowess that was not passed on to you. You got the fighting prowess and, well,
This is the stuff of legends.
stuff of legends. But it doesn't smell quite like hers, but it smells pretty good. you got the basics down. You remembered a
Sure.
couple of the secret ingredients, adding the nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon to give it that extra special spice.
Perfect.
Yeah, it smells pretty good.
All right, so I can kind of take these out and put them on perhaps a cooling rack to for a few minutes here
Yep.
while I prepare to bring them out to serve.
Nice. Yep. You find everything you need here. And yeah, you put them on a cooling rack, let them cool off, and then you can plate them all nice and take them out.
Nice, sweet. All right, I'm just gonna kind of like lovingly kind of bring them very carefully so I don't spill them with my apron and in a big nice serving tray. Enough for everyone to have like, at least like 3.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you have enough. Including the Wizard King, I'm assuming?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean,
Nice.
we promised him cookies, right?
Exactly. So you bring this out. You notice that Vero's no longer in the Zen room or the room where the river was, and you
Yep.
find everyone in the main area, including Hati, who ventured off as well. And yeah, you guys all see Samson come out with cookies.
Cyrus is just gonna
Everyone
be
roll a wisdom
confused.
save, please.
Oh no. Why?
Why not?
9.
That's a constructed one.
Ooh, a
Nice.
12. Ooh, a
Nice.
constructed one.
That is my third 20 on the die of the night. We're having the opposite session as a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, where was that a couple
So
weeks ago?
that brings us to a 15 on our save.
I got a 4.
Orpheus and Jens. There is nothing in Samson's hands. There is no cookies. There is no nothing. Everyone else, there is lovely cookies and a beautiful plate with some nice bespoke artistry done along the bezel of the plate. And yeah, these cookies smell delicious.
Oh, that's amazing. I'd love to
Ah,
have one, Samson, but like that's incredible that you were able to make them. I didn't know that you were a baker.
Well, I used to spend many, many evenings with Grandma Gregor trying to avoid her punches while picking up on her recipes. It
Of course,
it
of
was
course.
a
of
deadly
course.
art.
Gotta
But
train
delicious,
somehow.
I'm sure, and I'm gonna grab a cookie and take a bite.
Yes,
I
please.
grab.
Yeah.
Jens is going to attempt to grab Cyrus's hand before he takes that bite, looking at Orpheus.
In the pause,
What are they all doing?
in the pause, Randy jumps in, who's still at the party, and says, "Ah, yes, Grandma Gregor's cookies were always the most scrumptious, brother." Sorry, continue with your stuff.
That's so good.
Oh,
Forgot about Randy.
Randy, can you smell the cinnamon, the nutmeg? I remembered.
oh, yes, you did a fine job, brother. Your grandmother would be proud.
But sorry, Jens, did you want one? Like
Can you
there's plenty.
But okay, nobody eat anything yet.
It smells
And then so just
great.
kind of backing away so I can have an aside with Orpheus, making like keeping my eyes on everyone, like nobody eat.
I'm gonna
Nobody move.
That's
smell
very
the cookie
insulting to
a little bit
Samson.
closer.
And then as an aside, Orpheus,
Yeah.
there's nothing there, right?
No, he's just standing there pretending to hold a tray. Well,
Is
is everyone just humoring him?
That's what I was gonna ask you. What do you think?
I don't know. Are we just not polite enough?
Is this a joke?
I don't think it's a joke. He seems deadly serious about these cookies.
Cyrus isn't that good of an actor. Like he's very charismatic, but not like a faker, you know?
Yeah, you're probably right. So, are they like illusion cookies?
I think so. But to what ends? That wouldn't be a Samson thing, would it?
Has Samson been pretending to make cookies for the past hour? That's so sad.
Guys,
Samson
my
is
mouth
so
is watering
earnest.
over here. I really want to take a bite.
Cyrus, can you come here, please?
All right, I'm gonna get up and leave Petunia for a second.
Yeah. Oh.
What's up? Did you want some?
Cyrus, you're not holding anything. Do you know that?
Look, if you really want some, I'm gonna break the cookie in half and hand half to Jens.
I
Here,
would want to.
you can have half my cookie.
I want to make like hold Cyrus's hand so that the cookie is like pointed up and like weave my finger through it.
Don't stick your fingers in the cookie.
No, but there's nothing there. I'm not touching the cookie.
I'm gonna throw the half cookie that I have into Jens's face.
Nice. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
like it's right there.
Cyrus, just roll a strength check for me, please.
Okay.
With proficiency.
A ranged
Cool.
attack.
Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
it's a throne, so it'll still use strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 14 on the die, strength mod is 2, so 16.
Nice. You hit Jens just in his right pec, and the cookie bounces off from your perspective. Jens, you see him throw a handful of nothing at you, and you see a bunch of nothing hit nothing on you. Because there's nothing.
See, now we just wasted half of a perfectly good cookie.
Cyrus, for real, there's no cookie. Something really weird is happening right now. Do you remember the glasses with the do you remember the flesh goggles?
Yeah.
This is the opposite vibe to the flesh goggles.
Well, then there's no harm in me taking a bite if it's not actually there. And it smells really good. Like either
Oh.
it's a delicious cookie that I'm gonna eat, or there's nothing there, but it's still gonna taste like a delicious cookie.
While you're all focused on Cyrus, Randy's on his second cookie now.
I see
I
that.
just
I'm gonna
want to
start eating the
say,
cookie.
I can see you all debating whether or not to eat the cookies, and in my culture, this is considered quite the faux pas. It's very rude. These are great cookies, brother.
I am so sorry, Samson. Here, let me have some now, and I'm gonna take a bite.
It tastes pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Delicious. You guys are missing out. Gotta say, I don't know what you guys are on about, but
Exactly.
this is great.
Thank you, Cyrus. Now, importantly, do you feel like all of your ailments have been cured?
You know, I feel strong, I feel empowered, and I feel supported. So thank you for this
Really?
amazing cookie.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's
And I'm
more
gonna
than
grab
just
another
my
cookie.
muscles and clubs that can save the day, it would appear.
They're
You
all
have
just going
this
crazy.
beautiful side to you that I'm so glad that you shared with us. You know, it's your fine cooking culinary skills are show us that there's more to us than just our muscles, and that's
I feel
beautiful.
every day of adventuring with you fine folk, I learn a little bit more about yourselves and about myself as well.
Mm.
Samson, do you eat one of your own cookies? And Vero and Hati, do you guys eat cookies as well?
Oh, I'm definitely eating it.
Sweet.
And I was like, I'm also at the same time just like
Nice.
while they were talking, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm just eating a cookie.
And in my culture, I need to ensure that everyone enjoys before I partake. So I would encourage Jens and Orpheus, please have a delicious cookie. Everyone's enjoying them, and they will cure your condition. I'm sure of it.
I was gonna say Vero's just kind of conveniently not paying attention to what's going on here. Just like maybe walking over to like stroke the dragon on the back of its head or something
yeah.
like that. Just like keeping himself occupied,
Nice.
but avoiding the whole thing.
That's awesome. Back to you guys, Jens and Samson, in the discussion on whether or not you should be eating a cookie.
Should we pretend to eat something? Should we just go, it was so good? Or should we push this any further? I really don't know what's happening here.
What if the fact that they can see the cookies means they're under the influence of some other spell?
Cyrus is gonna grab another cookie and just like press it into Jens's hand, like, here, take it.
Nice. Yeah, you see you're pressing the cookie, it's getting a little squished, and like it's a soft cookie, so it smushes out, it doesn't crack or crumble.
I'm not gonna be like forceful and just like compress it, but like grab
Here.
grab Jens's hand, just like place it in there and like like a little forcefully, but like not.
It looks so uncanny to Jens because you're not. I feel no force because you're not touching my hand. But
Speed up,
stopping like
buddy.
at an incredibly specific point.
It's
I'm gonna
almost like
have
it's
like
cookie
a brief
whipped.
aside here. And can I make another insight check to see if Cyrus and Jens are in love?
We're just holding hands casually.
Just constantly.
So I rolled that over here for you, Orpheus. And I'm gonna make a judgment call on what I think the case is, but you get a good read on their relationship. You think they're just they're opposites attracting in a very friendly way, but you don't think there's a romance there. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there is a romance there, but
Okay.
Or none so far. Who's to say?
yeah. There's
I'll
the
just sort of like
potential.
nod to myself.
Yeah. There's a good spark that could be had there if the moment was right.
Nice.
Maybe if you had your
Orpheus-
lyre, you could make that moment happen.
Ooh, good idea.
Orpheus, you look like something just clicked. Do you have a solution for this?
No, I was thinking about something else.
Oh.
But are like Cyrus, there's no cookie. And
Do you
I
want
don't know
one
what you
too?
want us
Okay,
to
fine.
do.
I'll
I don't know what
grab
you
a
want us
cookie
to
and
do.
I'll put another cookie in Orpheus's hand this time. Now you see, normally when people have a cookie in their hand, they grab it like this, and then they put it in their mouth like this. Mmm, tasty.
From my
Cyrus,
perspective,
I-
Cyrus is just like miming eating a cookie like an absolute jackass.
Now you try.
Cyrus, I am incapable of telling you how many cookies are on that plate. I am incapable of telling you what kind of cookies they are. I am incapable of telling you what orientation they're in. I'm incapable of telling you how many bites you've taken of your cookie because there's nothing there to see. And that is
Well,
alarming to me in the broader picture of why are you seeing something that's not there?
I don't know, man, but there's a cookie in your hand. Are you gonna eat it or not?
Every magical instinct is screaming at me to not eat it.
I
Up
have
to
an
you guys.
interesting.
Maybe it's because you've both been cursed. I don't know.
Do they taste the same to everyone?
I mean, yeah,
you would
this
have
is
no way of
good.
knowing that.
No, but like if I ask, like, do they taste the same to everyone? Like if Samson didn't announce what the ingredients were.
Well, they already did. To Samson and Randy did confirm.
confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay, but
not-
Randy already knew what the cookies were supposed to taste like. So like I'm wondering if everyone tastes a different cookie or if everyone is tasting the cookie that Samson was trying to make.
So Samson, Cyrus, and Hati are the ones in the party who have 8 cookies. Sorry, this is just all so ridiculous.
You set it up, man.
I love it. It's just okay. So who ate the cookie? This is really serious business. It all
It's very
tastes,
serious.
it all tastes how you'd expect. Samson, it tastes like the cinnamon nutmeg, notes of chocolate. I don't know if you would have put oatmeal in there, but however you would have made the cookies, it tastes to that expectation.
Yeah, it's your classic chocolate chip cookie with just a little bit of spice.
Gotcha.
Tastes great. I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. I'm loving it.
Also, Samson, Cyrus, and Hati, I know we do hit points differently in this system, so I'm going to tell you to gain 1 temporary hit point, which means the first time you take a damage type, you just ignore taking that damage type.
Cool.
So you can add that to your character sheets that you have that right now.
-1
Nice.
exhaustion.
Hilarious.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Heck
Temp
yeah.
HP 1. Nice.
Yeah.
The key is truly in the texture of the cookie, the way that it's crispy on the outside, but chewy, melty on the inside. And when you break it apart, you can see how the chocolate is all gooey and stretchy. That's That's the real secret, healing power.
I'm gonna look over at
Yeah,
Jens again and I'm gonna be like, I really want a cookie now. Like so badly.
I mean, should we roll the dice on it? Maybe we can't see it because we're cursed.
And the two of you are the ones
That's
that I
actually a very
prepared the
good
cookies
point.
for.
Hmm.
It'd be very rude for you to not eat them.
I
I've
really
been
don't know what
trying to give it to you guys. Like,
Should we just pretend to eat the cookies?
I think we just have to pretend. I'm really tempted to eat the cookie, but it also occurred to me that a really common way of cursing people for all eternity is to trick them into eating food.
That's a really, really good point.
You guys can open your mouth. We can like I can go with the cookies. Like, here you go.
Here, just put one in my hand. I'll figure it out.
I'm
I already
allergic to
did do
I'm not gonna
that.
give them. I'm not gonna give them the whole
Did you
piece. I'm just
drop
gonna
my
take a small
cookie?
crumb.
I don't know. There's nothing there.
Ah,
He did. It's on the floor. It's been
Hmm.
stepped on a little bit.
I'm not gonna give them the whole piece of my cookie. I'm just gonna give them a tiny piece and put it on Ian's hand.
Is this a whole cookie?
No,
How much of a cookie?
it's a bite. That's all you get. I like my cookie.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Do I have it here? Am I holding it?
It looks kind of like he's holding it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a weird way to hold a cookie, but yeah, you're holding it.
I come up to Jens and I say, perhaps it is an artifact of your affliction that you're not able to see this delicious cookie, but if you trust in its healing power, then perhaps you will enjoy it.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
And we're all just staring at you.
I-
To eat this cookie.
I feel like I'm being weird about this, but can you not all stare at me while I eat?
all right, fine. And I'm gonna go over to Orpheus and and offer a piece to Orpheus. Like, Orpheus, you
I
want some?
will stare at you as is customary in my tradition of my culture. I need to see you enjoying it, Jens.
Very good. Very good.
Jens, did you attempt to put it in your mouth? I couldn't see what you mimed there. It kind of looked like you threw it behind
No, I'm
you. So...
throwing it over my shoulder, and that's canon.
Okay, cool. Then
Do I
Samson, you would have
notice
saw
that?
that. Yeah, you would have. Yeah, obviously.
Looked
The
like
cookie finds
you
it here.
threw it over your shoulder and then proceeded to chew what was not in your mouth.
No, that's a seafarer's
Kind of prepare the
tradition.
tray. Take your own
If
cookie.
you have
Take
if you have a little
whole
bit of
cookie.
salt on your fingers, or salt or dough or something, after you take a bite of something, you throw it over your shoulder for good luck. So that's all that was. I ate it and then threw it away.
I'm gonna have to do an insight check on Jens here.
Oh yeah, go ahead and roll that for yourself.
This is hilarious. What is happening?
Use your wisdom there, Samson. So -5.
2.
Nice. Jens is clearly disrespecting your whole culture because obviously you made these cookies to heal Jens of his ailment, and he's just refusing them and now gaslighting you about it.
Jens, I'm hurt. I wanted to help you, but I want to save your life, your non-life, your own life. It's really important to me that you at least try to enjoy the cookies, or at least if there is something you think is wrong with them, we try to get to the root of the issue. Perhaps we could do some sort of magical kerfluffling and discover what it is that is causing these cookies. I believe you that they appear transparent, but as far as I can tell, they are material and delicious.
And confirm.
Very much so. As I take another bite.
Perhaps we could go back to the room where I prepared the cookies and you could tell me what you think if there's anything amiss or suspect there.
That is actually a
That's
very
a
good
good
idea.
idea.
That's a good
very
idea.
good idea.
I will join Samson in the cooking area, baking area.
What do the rest of you guys do?
I'll go
Uh,
as well.
I'm staying with Petunia and just hanging out in the main room,
And Clay, I'm
enjoying
assuming
my
you're still
last
with
cookie
Petunia?
that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also gonna join them.
Sorry, join the Petunia crew or
Petunia.
the cooking crew?
The Petunia crew.
Okay, cool. All right. So you guys will stay there, entertaining the pseudo dragon. And the three of you go off to the cooking area. Now, Jens and Orpheus, what is top of mind right now for you? Is it getting to the like what is the thought? Like what is your intentionality right now with following Samson to this room?
I think I'm concerned that there's a curse on everybody else. That this cookie, I'm worried that the cookie thing is a symptom of something bigger.
Right.
And if this is a symptom of something bigger, then we're wasting our time here, and we can't afford to be wasting any time. So
Okay.
it's a little suspicion of where we are and of the Wizard King.
Okay. Suspicion, possible curse, trying to get to the bottom of this. Gotcha. Orpheus.
I'm thinking that it's a situation like with the flesh where we couldn't see it. But kind of in an opposite way, where certain people are like given almost like a hallucination.
Right, and you're thinking you're not part of that class, so you would think you would not see the thing. Kind of thing, right?
Possibly
Yeah.
because like the curse is having a side effect or something that like gives you immunity to something else, like that kind of perspective.
Okay. And Samson, you're just like, I'm just gonna take you back to the cooking room.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show you. Look, it's all above board. I prepared these cookies within within all the parameters that you would expect.
Food safety guidelines were followed.
So you go into the Zen room that I've described several times now and follow Samson through that room into another corridor, and you go down and you enter this next room.
Wait, as we're walking through the Zen room, I just want to say I found Vero here meditating. I sniffed the water. It didn't seem like it would add anything to the cookies, so I moved on. I'm narrating my journey through
I love it.
calm as we go.
All right. Guided tour, guys. And as your tour happens upon this room, I would like everyone again to roll a wisdom save.
Including me?
Yes, including you.
Okay.
Oh, that time it's a -1.
4.
Okay. Samson, you see the cooking room that you had left. You see everything as it was when you left, which is to say nothing cleaned up, and it's a mess because you were too excited about the
I
cookies.
had priorities.
Yeah, exactly. No
He's
one's
just like
judging
me
you
for
it.
real.
Jens, you see a room of cursed relics and other sort of voodoo-esque sort of things. There is a shelf with a whole bunch of voodoo and accursed-looking objects that look like they would impart nasty sort of ailments upon anyone who is afflicted by their magic. Orpheus, you see a blank room of nothingness. It's just more cave.
As you can see, this room is a kitchen full of food items, and I prepared the cookies here exactly as my grandmother would have.
Samson, there's nothing in this room. There's
Oh, you see
nothing
you
in
see
this
nothing?
room. There's nothing in this room.
I see stuff.
What is happening?
I don't see baking things, but I see stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna walk over to like the oven and the place where I prepared it and say,
Samson,
"Don't
can
you
you
see this?"
don't move?
So just the
Jeez.
contrast, the oven for Samson, Riley, it looks like a satanic altar, and there appears to be a goat head that has way too many horns for a natural goat, and it's just dripping this dark purple blood. And Samson's like, "Here's the oven."
Here is
This
why
is
I
what
prepared
you-
the cookies.
This is what you cooked with?
Yes, of course. I set it to 350 and baked for 12 minutes, just as grandma would have.
Orpheus, what do you see?
There's nothing in this room.
None of us are going into this room again.
I'm gonna step over to where they're indicating right now and see if I just like walk through it.
Where they're indicating seems to be the cave wall to you.
So if I walk up to it and like touch it.
So yeah, for all three of you, it would be like walking up to the cave wall, touching it. For Samson, it'd be like you're touching the hot oven, and then for Riley, it would be like you are touching the goat head.
I snatch Orpheus's hand back.
There's
That
nothing
is-
here. This has been one hell of a day, guys.
Orpheus, I hope that there's nothing there. I see the type of implements used in evil aligned magic.
I'm gonna grab Jens by the collar and say, are you saying my grandmother conducts evil magic?
Samson, I believe your grandmother, from everything I've heard, was a wise and talented woman that anyone would be lucky to meet. I dearly wish to eat some of her cookies. I think you have been tricked into making a falsity of her cookies.
Well,
What better evil temptation than something as pure as grandmother's cookies?
I do trust that you know your magics better than I do. I do trust that, my friend. But how can we resolve this? How can we find clarity here where clearly there is none? Because the three of us are all experiencing different versions of this pantry boudoir.
And we found out that
What?
the
Well,
That
that
has
word
to be
queued
the
up, and I
name.
was like, that doesn't make sense. Don't say that.
Said it anyways. I love it.
Exactly.
You know, Samson, I too would refer to this as a pantry boudoir, but we should really get out of here.
Sure.
that we can agree on. And everyone needs to stop eating the cookies.
We're just waiting for the wizard to wake up, right? So, whatever.
Samson gain inspiration.
Nice.
Samson pouring his heart and soul into this, and then she's like, they're just not eating. He's like, yeah, whatever, okay.
We've got to kill the time somehow.
Wait, I have an idea. Let's leave the room. Okay. And I want all of us to imagine something. And then we're going to go back into the room and see what's in the room after that.
Sure.
Let's try it. I like it.
Novel idea. Worth a try.
So you just walk out, walk back in?
Yeah.
I'm going to be imagining the equivalent of like an armory of potions.
Okay.
Ooh.
Specifically, I am picturing the shelf on which a potion of remove curse is resting.
Cool. Orpheus, what would you be thinking about?
I'm imagining a large library.
Okay. Any particular books or just a generic library?
Just like I was just thinking books on everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like just shelves covering the wall and just like a general purpose kind of library.
Gotcha. And Samson?
I'm thinking about my pet duck, Clarence, from when I was a child.
Oh my God.
All right. So the way this is gonna work is, you know how when your mind is on something and then it's like, think of something completely different, how that's not always as easy as you'd like it to be? Everyone roll an intelligence DC 14 save.
I think I got it.
15.
15?
16.
Nice.
This is a save, correct?
Yes. So you are proficient.
Why can't I figure out saves?
All good.
Yeah, passed it.
Nice. Okay, so you guys all reset your mind. You're now thinking of new things. And everyone, when you re-enter the room, please roll a wisdom save.
Ooh, 12.
-1.
Sorry?
-1.
-1. Okay. Orpheus, you walk in, and this is just another normal-ish kind of room in the cave. There seems to be like a dusty desk with a book on it and a chair. And over in the corner, you see a shelf that's carved into the cave, and it has this sort of talisman, almost like amulet, that has a red object in the center of it. And it's a fairly large amulet size. Maybe it's like about that big or so.
Cool.
And then for Samson, you see the room where your pet duck Clarence used to be as a child. It looks like your boyhood room, and your duck is there just quack, quack.
Oh.
And Jens, you see a room full of potions, and you are scouring looking for a remove curse potion. And then up on the highest shelf, maybe about 25 feet up, you see a potion, and in big bold letters it has written on it, remove curse. 2 times.
I'm gonna run over to Clarence. Clarence, my boy! It has been so long!
Orpheus?
Yeah.
So I don't know what you see. I see 2 doses of a remove curse potion.
See, that seems too convenient to me.
It is very convenient.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over to the talisman and I'd like to examine it.
You examine it and you see it has a vertical slitted eye on it. And it has a yellow iris to it, but then the rest of it is kind of red. It's got a gold coating to the outside, so the encasing of the little puck that makes up the actual amulet where the eye is all gold, and then it has a thick gold chain, and it is sitting on a little sort of rock carved podium, so it's just kind of like propped back up.
So there's this like very cursed looking amulet with a glimmering eye on it that I think might be controlling this whole thing. But maybe
That
that's too
tracks.
convenient as well. I don't know.
Well, that is also true.
Okay, I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground with Clarence in my lap, and I'm petting him. And I'm, friends, I think I've figured it out. You see, this room, I think it just shows you whatever you want it to be. Because I was looking like dearly for food when I found it. And then those of you who wanted to see my cookies saw the cookies and enjoyed them, and they were good. Yes. And now, could it be that the potion is exactly what you need it to be because you believed that it would be here? Could that possibly be the case? I'm just petting Clarence this whole time.
I believe that if I drank that potion, nothing at best, something terrible most likely would happen to me. However, I am rather in a spot of hail tier choices. And so I would propose that I fetch that potion that I can see. We get out of here before we are tempted further. And in the event the King of Wizards falls short, I knock back the potion before I die, because what do I have to lose?
True, you are going to die.
I am going to die.
Perhaps we could test the potion if we ourselves could curse something and put just a drop of the potion on it. See what happens.
Clarence?
Don't hurt Clarence.
I just got this feeling that somebody would hurt Clarence. And I will not have it.
Joe, can I retrieve the potion?
It is on the top of a very rickety looking bookshelf that is made of wood, something you have not seen since being in the underworld. And yeah, you can climb up there, but you might be at risk of breaking the shelf or potentially having potions fall onto the ground and have unknown consequence. But as we've discussed in the past, consequences aren't a bad thing, so.
While Jens is contemplating this, can I contemplate how breakable this amulet is?
Oh yeah. Just without I'm assuming you don't want to touch it, but maybe you do want to touch it. It's gonna be an investigation check, but I just want to know if you're just looking at it or if you're picking it up and
Oh yeah, I'm gonna touch it.
Okay. Everyone in the main room, you guys hear a very familiar shriek.
No!
No!
What did I say? I said don't do anything, sit quiet.
Yeah, this makes sense.
I could have seen that coming. I didn't want to say
Orpheus,
anything.
you touch the amulet and the eye closes, and Samson and Jens, it just appears like a normal room like it does to Orpheus. But you're so far away, you don't notice any of the stuff that I'm about to describe in the other room. So we'll come back to you guys in a second, as I'm assuming Orpheus, roll your investigation and hold that number, and we'll come back and pick that up. But first, you guys see the wizard roll up, and he just said, "Oh my goodness, where's the rest of you? You guys won't stop snooping around my house. Oh, my alarm bells are going off and everything. I don't appreciate this when I'm trying to rest. I'm gonna have to start all over again."
Oh, I am so sorry. I think my friends went to your kitchen in the back.
Kitchens? I
Samson,
don't have a kitchen.
well, Samson made some delicious cookies, but
Oh
we were
jeez.
having
Oh no. And he starts leaving and going to the in the direction you saw them go.
Jens and Orpheus couldn't see them for some reason. I don't know.
Do you guys stay with Petunia?
I'm gonna pick up Petunia and like carry her along this time. I feel like this is kind of important.
Roll an animal handling with advantage.
All right. That's gonna be an 11.
Yeah, she's fine. She's a little bit fussy, but she likes you, so.
Nice.
And then Clay and Hati, you guys continue along with them.
Yeah, I'll just follow along behind.
Cool. Yeah, the wizard is flustered, but he's not moving particularly fast. So you guys are, within line of sight of him the whole time. But going back to the other people in the room, so Orpheus, what did you get for your investigation on the amulet?
15.
15. This is an enchanted item, and as you pretty much deduced, it's probably controlling the effects that are taking place in this room. You're pretty sure you have a good idea of what it does. It's going to show you what you're imagining the most at the time you enter if you fail to see past the illusion of this amulet. You think it must be much stronger than a basic illusion, though, because the objects seem to have corporeal form for the people who fail. So it's a little bit more of just an illusion. It seems to also, alter reality for the people who get befallen by its spell. As to the breakability of this thing, you think if you smashed it, or rather Samson took out his big crystal club, or not crystal club, but look-alike, and smashed it, that would definitely break this thing and presumably stop the magical effect, as you've seen before with magical items.
Okay.
What do you
But
guys
everyone
think?
else sees the room as normal
Yeah,
now?
because the eye has
Okay.
closed, and yeah, the effect has gone for you guys. So, Riley, there's no more remove curse potion.
No.
It might have worked.
Might have worked.
Can you open that eye again?
Why?
To grab the potion so we have a backup.
Do you think the potion was really real?
No. But do I think that the Wizard King is going to help me? Almost no.
Yeah. I really think that drinking something from this room is going to do more harm than good. Although, I don't know if the cookies had any negative effects. Maybe we'll find out soon.
We might find out.
Yeah.
For the people in the main area, around the same time the wizard screeched from bed, you notice the cookies vanished as well.
God damn it.
They were tasty while they lasted.
Yeah, so you guys are having this conversation, and then all of a sudden you hear this huffing and hoofing coming down the hall, and the wizard looks at you and says, "Oh my goodness, why won't you just stay out of my rooms? I just need an hour to sleep, and then I help you, I promise. Just please put my magical eye back."
What is this exactly?
It's my wishing eye. This is my wishing room.
Your wishing room?
Yes, I come in here and I wish for things, and it happens. It's magical. That's why I have the eye over there.
Makes sense to me.
And
Orpheus,
please
could
put
you
it
put
down.
that
It's
back?
very fragile.
So, Your regalness, I have 2 questions. One, is there any way that you can tell me what the Are the magical items of the effects that they would be if they were found in the normal world? And two, where is Clarence?
He kind of looks at you with a dumbfounded stare and just says, "It's the wishing room. My wishes come true in here. Is Clarence your wish?"
Clarence is a duck.
Oh. And then he just goes, "What?"
What?
You don't
He
think you're
starts
gonna get a better
quacking.
answer than that?
Clarence?
But he is gesturing to you, Orpheus, to put the amulet back.
I'll like cautiously put it back.
It opens its eye back up, and everyone in the room, please roll the save.
This is a wisdom save, right?
Yeah, wisdom save.
2.
14.
Nice.
5.
13.
If you got 11 or higher, you succeeded. So hands up for success. I think Samson and okay, cool. So the three of you all just see the room as it was a moment ago, and the rest of you, Hati, what's most top of mind right now for you?
Honestly, those cookies.
Room full of cookies. They smell just like Samson's. It's like piles and piles of cookies in here. And
Ah.
Vero, what about you?
Probably like a continuation of the river room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Something quite peaceful.
It seems like this is the natural continuation of that river. It's different in its own way, but it's still very zen and peaceful in here. Yeah. And Riley, I'm almost imagining just a bunch of remove curse potions as far as the eye can see. So Hati gets piles and piles of cookies. You're seeing piles and piles of remove curse vials.
Great. I grabbed 2.
Nice. Just 2.
Actually, you know what? How many can fit in this? Like, let's go with 10. No,
Yeah,
12.
10's a good number.
Even
10's a
dozen.
good
Even
number.
dozen.
Yeah, dozen, 10, either one's fine. Do you want to pop one of them right now?
No.
Okay.
I will pop one when I have 15 minutes left to live. Actually, that's cutting it pretty tight. Pretty tight. Oh man, we are getting pretty tight here though.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? An hour
'Cause I
left
have-
to live?
Got like
A
an
little
hour
bit
and a
more than an
half.
hour.
Pop it in 15 minutes.
I'm gonna have just if Buddy goes back to bed right away, I'm gonna have just enough time for him to try his thing, right?
So you guys have gone through half of another one of his long rests. So basically, it would leave you with 30 minutes,
Yeah.
which is enough time for him to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
If he goes to bed right now. But yeah,
I am not gonna pop one right now.
We
but
all gotta just sit down.
I am gonna keep it real handy.
Cyrus is
And
gonna
if-
start hurting people.
If Buddy's thing doesn't work, then knocking it back right away.
okay. He looks at Orpheus and says, "Thank you for putting the eye down. Now, if you could all leave, I'll just sleep in here. The bed looks really nice over there." And he points to where there's a pile of cookies or potions for Jens. And Vero, it's just kind of like a rough spot in the sand, and the rest of you, it's just a spot in the corner. It's kind of near the desk, like his head's going to be uncomfortably against one of the legs of the desk in a way that you think would give you a nasty kink in your neck, but he seems comfortable.
We'll leave you to it, and I promise you there will be no more disturbances.
He's already snoring.
Cool. Right, everybody, let's go. Shh. Let's go.
But what of Clarence?
We'll deal with Clarence later. It's okay.
Gotta just go sit down.
Yeah.
This
I'm
was a
gonna grab
mystery.
Cyrus and be like, "You don't understand. I haven't seen him since he sacrificed his life to save me."
Jesus.
And we'll find him again, I promise.
I thought
But
this
right
was
now-
hell, but it's clearly heaven.
Right now, we need to think about saving Jens, and then we'll find Clarence, I promise. Can
So
you
you
trust
guys-
me, Samson?
As
Okay.
long as you don't start preaching again, then we're fine.
Well, I can tell you about, as like I'm leading everyone towards the main hall, like, oh, I can tell you about my family if you like. It's not preaching, it's just, family tree sort of stuff, you know, my parents, my aunt and uncle, my
Suppose
grandparents.
once we get settled, I did share about my grandmother, so I'll hear your tale of your lineage.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, and as Cyrus leads everyone back into the main room, Cyrus is going to sit himself in front of the uh hallway, I guess, and just not letting anyone pass. Like, this is where I'm sitting. No one's going past me. We're leaving everything. You know, we're staying here.
Nice.
Once we go into the main room, Vero's gonna say, "Well, friends, I have a short little story I'd like to share with y'all." And then he's going to launch into the most long-winded, complex story about farming and farming traditions of his people.
Good.
But I assume naturally nobody will feel comfortable interrupting Vero because it'll come across as a story of great importance and wisdom that must be heeded.
Of course.
Yep, of course.
Absolutely.
And it'll take approximately an hour to tell.
Halfway through this story, Jens and Orpheus, you guys lose another point of charisma.
Jeez, Louise.
Wait.
Sorry, as I'm listening to Vero's story, I'm gonna sort of drift over to the corner and take out the book, and I'm gonna like find just like a picture of my father in the book, and then I'm gonna take out my little stuffed imp after I make sure that no one's watching, and I'm just gonna sit there and just like be sad for a while.
Yeah, no one notices you do this.
I think while Vero is telling the story, Jens is gonna keep looking at him, but mine is gonna wander a little bit. And
So rude.
I think and I mean the DM might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the world that we're in being a very magical place in life, Jens was used to feeling another presence during prayer. And I don't think that's there. I think Jens is just alone in his mind. But throwing out to the ether anyway, things along the lines of Tyr, you're a rotten, a useless, an ugly git. You're better left alone with the bilge rats of a moldering old barge. But if you help Orpheus, I will owe you. And you know me, and you know I will keep to that. And things along those lines.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say or add to that, so yeah, that's fine. And as Vero's story comes to a close, and Vero, I would give you inspiration, but I already gave you inspiration, so and you guys all finish up hearing that story, and then the wizard comes out, looking very fresh and chipper, and he goes up to Petunia and says, "Oh, Petunia, did they treat you all right?" Petunia just kind of like looks happy, so he's like, "Good." And then he picks up Petunia from Cyrus and he sticks Petunia in Orpheus's face, and Petunia just licks all your boils. And as she's doing this, he's kind of like moving her around and just saying a bunch of things in Infernal, and then the curse is gone. And then he turns around and looks at Jens and just says, "Your turn!" And then just sticks Petunia in your face. She's licking it all around. He's saying similar sort of words. You guys don't know what he's saying. And then he, cast remembers. So you guys regain your charisma.
Oh, thank you,
back
God.
up to full. And your shame is a little bit higher now, as you just had a pseudo dragon slobber all over your face. And you think maybe tongue you a little bit. But hey, you still have your head, so we'll count that as a win.
I'm just gonna try to give the wizard a big hug. Just like I'm very overwhelmed.
He gives you a big hug back, and he's like, Yes, Petunia's kisses have this effect on people usually.
Why did he need to sleep?
Literally, he is a warlock and he had 2 spell slots. And he literally used them both when you startled him. So just for your guys' sake, like I was rolling to see if he'd hear you knocking, and he rolled like 1s and 2s on his perception. So he didn't hear you at all, and then you broke down the door and that scared him.
So if
I
we
feel
had been
bad.
able to just like get in, he would have had his spell slots and we
Yeah.
would have been good to go.
Yeah. Or if you know when he said, "Hey, I just have an hour, I just need an hour." If you guys just sat in there and didn't disturb his rest, we would have had none of this. You guys would have just been fine, ready to go. He was just there to help you, but you guys don't trust a goddamn person.
I'm gonna
Some
come
of
up
us do.
behind Orpheus and Jens and put my hands around them and say, "Friends, aren't you glad that I remembered about my grandmother's famous cookies?"
They were delicious, and I thank you very much for making them.
Exactly.
Jens, you still have all of the vials.
Amazing.
But only
Nice.
Jens can perceive them.
Only Jens can perceive them. Unless he presents them to you guys, then I'll get you to roll a save potentially. Similar like when you presented the cookies to everyone.
Right. Yeah.
That's all right. You can pour things into my mouth.
No.
Cyrus, if you're trying to tell a joke, that's lost on me.
Oh, no, it was just sort of like a thing that we used to do back home. It was stupid. I'm sorry. Anyways,
Stop. That's okay. We're done. That's the end of the session.